Namah Shivaya.
Why does Lord Shiva, the god known for deep meditation and silence, carry a sharp, three-pointed weapon in his hand? What if the Trishula was never only a weapon of destruction, but a symbol created to explain fear, ego, time, and the hidden struggles inside the human mind? And why do millions of people still feel emotionally connected to this ancient symbol even today, in a world filled with stress, pressure, anger, and confusion? For thousands of years, the Trishula of Shiva has appeared in temples, paintings, scriptures, and stories across India and many other parts of Asia. In Hindu traditions, Shiva is often called the destroyer, but this idea is widely misunderstood. In many Hindu philosophical teachings, destruction does not always mean violence or evil. Sometimes it means removing ignorance, pride, fear, or unhealthy attachment so something better can grow. Different Hindu traditions explain Shiva and the Trishula in different ways, so this video is not about proving one single meaning as absolute truth. Instead, it is a journey through mythology, symbolism, emotional storytelling, and real-life lessons connected to this powerful symbol. In today's world, many people fight invisible battles. Some struggle with anxiety. Some carry pain from the past. Others feel pressure to succeed, compare themselves with others, or hide their emotional wounds behind a smile. That is why ancient symbols still matter. They survive because human emotions have not changed as much as technology has changed. Through this story, we will explore how the Trishula became more than a weapon and why many people see it as a symbol of balance, courage, and inner strength. Stay with me until the end, because the final meaning behind Shiva's Trishula may completely change the way you see this ancient symbol. And if you enjoy meaningful mythology stories explained in a simple and honest way, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more journeys like this. Long before modern cities, machines, and technology existed, ancient people tried to understand the world through stories and symbols. In many civilizations, powerful weapons in mythology were not only meant for war. They often represented human emotions, natural forces, or spiritual ideas. In Hindu traditions, the Trishula of Lord Shiva became one of the most recognized symbols connected with balance, power, and change. Even today, the Trishula can be seen outside temples, in religious art, and during festivals connected to Shiva worship. Historical and religious meanings connected to the Trishula can be found in texts like the Shiva Purana and Linga Purana, although interpretations often differ between traditions and teachers. One of the most common symbolic meanings connected to the Trishula is the idea of three forces that shape life itself: creation, preservation, and destruction. In Hindu philosophy, these ideas are deeply connected to the cycle of nature. A seed becomes a tree. The tree grows strong and gives life. Then one day it falls, becomes part of the earth again, and helps new life grow. In the same way, human life also moves through stages. Childhood changes into adulthood. Old habits end, so new lessons can begin. Because of this, destruction in Hindu philosophy is not always seen as something evil. Sometimes it represents necessary change. What makes Shiva different from many mythological warriors is his calm nature. In most images, he is not shown screaming in anger or rushing into battle. He sits silently in meditation, while holding the Trishula with complete control. Many people interpret this as a message about self-control. Real strength is not losing control of emotions whenever life becomes difficult. Even in modern life, people often damage relationships because of anger, pride, or impulsive decisions. A father may hurt his family with uncontrolled words. A young person may destroy self-confidence by constantly comparing life with others online. These invisible struggles are very real. That is why many people believe the Trishula is not only about fighting enemies outside us. Symbolically, it may also represent the battle against fear, ego, confusion, and emotional suffering inside the human mind. One of the most powerful symbolic meanings connected to Shiva's Trishula is the idea of time. In many Hindu interpretations, the three sharp points of the Trishula are sometimes linked with the past, present, and future. This meaning is not accepted in exactly the same way by every Hindu tradition, but it is a widely discussed symbolic explanation in spiritual teachings and philosophy. What makes this idea interesting is how deeply it connects with modern human life. Even today, many people suffer not because of physical danger, but because their minds are trapped in time. Some people cannot escape painful memories from the past. Others constantly fear the future. Very few feel truly calm in the present moment. A person may spend years thinking about one mistake, one breakup, one failure, or one painful loss. The event ends, but the memory keeps living inside the mind. In another situation, a student may become afraid of the future before life has even begun. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being successful enough. These thoughts slowly create emotional pressure. Modern technology has made this even stronger. Social media constantly shows people comparing their lives, achievements, money, and appearance with others. Because of this, many people feel like they are running through life without peace. In many stories and images, Shiva remains calm, even during destruction and chaos. He is shown meditating in silence while the world around him changes. Symbolically, many people see this as a lesson about emotional balance. Storms will come into every human life. Loss, aging, disappointment, and uncertainty cannot be completely avoided. Hindu mythology also connects Shiva with cremation grounds and the idea of impermanence. This symbolism is meant to remind people that everything in life changes. Youth changes, success changes, even pain changes with time. A businessman who loses wealth may believe life is over, but later discover peace through family and simplicity. An elderly person may fear growing old, yet later find meaning through wisdom and helping others. These are not supernatural promises. They are human experiences seen throughout life. That is why many people believe the Trishula teaches something deeply practical. Learn from the past, prepare for the future, but do not lose your entire life worrying about both. In many Hindu stories and philosophical teachings, the greatest danger to human life is not always shown as a monster, a weapon, or an outside enemy. Very often, the real danger is described as something growing silently inside the human mind. Pride, anger, greed, jealousy, and uncontrolled desire appear again and again in mythology because these emotions can slowly destroy peace, relationships, and even entire societies. Many symbolic interpretations of Shiva and the Trishula connect the weapon not only with physical power, but with the destruction of these inner weaknesses. Different Hindu traditions explain this idea differently, so these meanings should be understood as spiritual and philosophical interpretations rather than fixed historical facts. One common symbolic interpretation connects the 3 points of the Trishula with 3 harmful emotional forces: anger, greed, and attachment. Even in modern life, these 3 problems continue to shape human behavior. Anger can destroy families within minutes. A person who cannot control emotions may say words that leave pain for years. Greed can slowly remove honesty and kindness from people. Around the world, many financial crimes, corruption scandals, and broken friendships begin with the desire for more money, more status, or more control. Attachment can also create suffering when people build their entire happiness around things that eventually change or disappear. There are many real examples of this in daily life. Two brothers may stop speaking for years because of arguments over property or inheritance. A successful businessman may spend decades chasing status and wealth, only to realize later that he lost peace, health, and close relationships along the way. A teenager constantly searching for approval online may slowly feel empty inside, despite receiving attention from thousands of people. These struggles are not ancient myths, they are modern human experiences. This is why Shiva is often shown in deep meditation. He sits quietly in the mountains, far away from noise and distraction. Symbolically, many people see this as a lesson about awareness and self-control. Not every battle should be fought with anger. Sometimes silence, patience, reflection, and emotional discipline are stronger than force. In this way, many believers and scholars interpret the hidden power of the Trishula as a reminder that the hardest battle in life is often the battle against the darkness growing inside ourselves. Many people think ancient symbols only belong to the past, but the reason symbols survive for thousands of years is because human emotions continue to stay the same. The world has changed through science, technology, and modern cities, yet people still struggle with fear, anger, loneliness, pride, stress, and emotional pain. That is one reason why the Trishula of Shiva still feels meaningful to many people today. In Hindu traditions, the Trishula is not only seen as a physical weapon. Many spiritual teachers and symbolic interpretations connect it with balance, discipline, awareness, and control over human weakness. These meanings are philosophical ideas, not scientifically proven facts, and interpretations can differ between traditions, scriptures, and teachers. Modern life moves very fast. People wake up checking phones, messages, news, and social media. Many work long hours while carrying emotional pressure inside. Some constantly compare their lives with others online. Others feel trapped by financial stress, family problems, or fear about the future. Even with modern comforts, many people feel mentally exhausted. In this kind of world, the calm image of Shiva, sitting silently with the Trishula, creates a strong emotional contrast. He represents stillness in the middle of noise. Many people see this as a reminder that real strength is not about shouting louder or becoming more aggressive. Real strength may come from emotional balance and self-control. Some symbolic interpretations also connect the 3 points of the Trishula with balance between thoughts, emotions, and actions. A person may think positively but act carelessly. Another may have strong emotions but no control over anger. Problems often begin when these parts of life lose balance. A father who cannot control stress may slowly damage his relationship with his children. A person chasing money without rest may lose health and peace along the way. These examples are common human experiences seen everywhere in modern society. That is why many people continue to connect with Shiva's symbolism today. The Trishula reminds them that power without discipline can create destruction, but power guided by awareness can create peace. Even though mythology belongs to ancient history, the emotional lessons inside these symbols still feel deeply human in the modern world. At first glance, Shiva's Trishula looks like a weapon connected with power and destruction. But after looking deeper into mythology, symbolism, and human behavior, many people believe its meaning is far more emotional and philosophical than physical. Across Hindu traditions, Shiva is often shown holding the Trishula calmly, not wildly using it in anger. This image itself carries an important symbolic lesson. True strength is not uncontrolled force. True strength is the ability to stay balanced even during fear, pain, confusion, or conflict. Different scriptures and traditions explain Shiva differently, so no single interpretation should be treated as the only absolute meaning. Still, many symbolic teachings connected to the Trishula continue to resonate with people because they reflect real human struggles. Throughout life, people spend years fighting battles outside themselves. They compete for money, success, attention, and status. They struggle against criticism, failure, and disappointment. But many spiritual interpretations connected with Shiva suggest that the hardest battle is often inside the human mind. Fear can control decisions. Ego can damage relationships. Anger can destroy trust within seconds. Jealousy can slowly remove peace from daily life. In this way, many people symbolically interpret the Trishula as a reminder to face inner darkness honestly instead of pretending it does not exist. This message still connects strongly with modern life. A person may appear successful on the outside while silently struggling with loneliness, anxiety, or emotional exhaustion. Another may spend years chasing approval from society while losing connection with family, health, and inner peace. Around the world, mental stress and emotional pressure have become common experiences. While mythology cannot replace medical care or professional mental health support, stories and symbols can still offer emotional reflection and wisdom. That is one reason ancient symbols continue to survive across generations. The image of Shiva standing silently in the Himalayas with the Trishula beside him creates a powerful final idea. Storms may continue outside us. Problems may never completely disappear from human life. But many people believe the hidden message of the Trishula is about learning to remain steady within those storms. Perhaps its greatest power was never about destroying the world around us. Perhaps it was always about helping people understand, control, and slowly overcome the darkness within themselves. One of the most unforgettable images in Hindu mythology is Shiva, sitting silently in meditation, high in the Himalayas, far away from noise, pride, and distraction. Around him, there may be storms, wild rivers, snakes, fire, or symbols of destruction, yet Shiva himself remains calm. This image has appeared in Hindu art, temple carvings, and spiritual traditions for centuries. Many people interpret this calmness as one of the deepest lessons connected with the Trishula. The weapon may represent power, but Shiva's silence represents control over that power. Different traditions explain these symbols in different ways, but the idea of inner peace through self-control is a common theme found across many teachings connected with Shiva. Modern life is filled with constant noise. Phones vibrate every few minutes. News spreads fear quickly. Social media creates pressure to appear successful, attractive, or important all the time. Many people feel mentally tired even when they are physically resting. Because of this, the image of Shiva meditating in silence feels deeply meaningful to many viewers today. It reminds people that peace does not always come from changing the outside world. Sometimes peace begins when the mind becomes quieter inside. Many symbolic interpretations also connect Shiva's meditation with awareness. A person who reacts to every insult with anger may create pain for themselves and others. But a person who learns patience and emotional control often makes better decisions. This does not mean humans should ignore problems or stop feeling emotions. It simply means emotions should not completely control actions. A student struggling with pressure may feel hopeless after failing one exam, but later understand that one mistake does not define an entire future. A parent dealing with financial stress may accidentally bring anger into the home, then slowly realize that calm communication heals more than shouting ever can. In many spiritual traditions, including parts of Hindu philosophy, silence is not seen as weakness. It is seen as clarity. The Trishula beside Shiva may symbolize strength, but his meditation may symbolize wisdom about when and how to use that strength. That is why many people continue to connect emotionally with Shiva's image even today. In a world filled with speed, distraction, and emotional pressure, the calm silence of Shiva reminds people that the mind also needs rest, balance, and peace. Across Hindu traditions, Shiva's Trishula is one of the most powerful and widely recognized symbols. It appears in temples, sacred art, and ancient stories described in texts such as the Shiva Purana and other related Hindu philosophical works. However, it is important to be honest that these texts and traditions do not always agree on a single fixed meaning. Instead, the Trishula has many symbolic interpretations that developed over time in different regions and schools of thought. Because of this, what we discuss here should be understood as symbolic meaning, not a single proven historical fact. When we look at all the ideas together from earlier chapters, a deeper picture begins to form. The Trishula is often linked with creation, preservation, and destruction. It is also connected with past, present, and future. And in another interpretation, it is seen as a reminder to control anger, greed, and attachment. While these meanings differ, they all point toward one shared idea: balance. Life itself is always changing, and human emotions constantly move between extremes. Joy turns into sadness. Success turns into pressure. Peace can quickly turn into stress. Many people believe the Trishula symbolically represents the need to stay balanced in all these changes. Shiva's calm presence adds another layer to this meaning. He is often shown sitting in meditation, holding the Trishula without fear or confusion. This image is not meant to promote violence or fear. Instead, it is widely interpreted as a symbol of awareness and inner control. In real life, people face many invisible battles, such as anxiety, anger, loneliness, and self-doubt. While mythology does not replace psychological or medical support, symbolic stories can help people reflect on their emotions in a different way and understand themselves more clearly. In modern society, where people are constantly connected, but often feel disconnected inside, the message of the Trishula still feels relevant. It reminds many viewers that external success alone does not bring lasting peace. Inner stability matters just as much as outer achievement. A person may have wealth, but still feel empty. Another may face difficulties, but still remain calm and emotionally strong. These are human experiences that can be seen everywhere, regardless of culture or country. In the end, the hidden power of Shiva's Trishula is not about physical force. It is about meaning. It is about reminding people that real strength may come from understanding the mind, controlling emotions, and finding balance in a constantly changing world. As we reach the end of this journey, it is clear that Shiva's Trishula is not just a simple weapon from mythology. In many Hindu traditions, it is a symbol that carries deep meanings about life, change, and the human mind. These meanings are not the same in every text or tradition, and it is important to understand that Hindu mythology is very wide, with many interpretations developed over thousands of years. Sources like the Shiva Purana and other Hindu philosophical works describe Shiva in many forms, but most agree on one idea. His symbolism often points toward balance and awareness rather than violence. Throughout this story, we explored how the Trishula is often connected with ideas like creation, preservation, and destruction, or past, present, and future, or even emotional struggles like anger, greed, and attachment. While these are symbolic interpretation, they help people understand human life in a simple way. Life itself is full of change. People grow, face loss, feel joy, and go through stress. These experiences are part of being human, and they have been the same across cultures and history, even though the world around us has changed. In today's world, people often deal with pressure from work, family, social media, and personal expectations. Many feel mentally tired or emotionally overwhelmed. While mythology is not a replacement for medical or psychological help, stories like Shiva's Trishula can still give people a moment to reflect. They can remind us that not every problem needs a reaction filled with anger or fear. Sometimes the first step is simply understanding what is happening inside our own mind. The calm image of Shiva holding the Trishula is often seen as a reminder that real strength is not about control over others, but control over oneself. When thoughts are balanced and emotions are understood, life becomes clearer and less confusing. This is not a proven scientific fact, but a philosophical idea that many people find meaningful. In the end, the message is simple. The Trishula may be seen as a symbol of balance, awareness, and inner strength. And maybe its deepest lesson is this: the biggest battles in life are not always outside us, but inside us. And peace begins when we start to understand that truth with honesty and calmness.